and gentlemen, grab your seats and grab your gum because it is time for playoff baseball, baby. I'm Cobra. And I'm joined by Ben and Tylor. Say hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
Wow. Hello.
I know. Yep. All right. Yeah. This is going to be an interesting Dirt and Turf podcast, considering that this is a quickie. This is probably going to be a quickie. Just a
Not
tip,
the one
only
behind the
for a
gas
minute.
station.
Giggity.
Yes. Yeah, quickie. Just a tip and only for a minute until the swelling goes down. We promise not to leave a mess. Oh, anywho. So some sad news in the world of baseball, guys. The legend, Pete Rose.
All-time hit leader. All-time hit leader.
All-time hit leader. One of the greatest baseball players not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. R.I.P.
The original famous baseball gambler. Before he made it, he was the one that made it more famous than Shoeless Joe Jackson. So, that's the sad part about it. My dad wrote a letter to Commissioner Giamatti, basically saying, "Hey, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame," and oh crap, letter gets sent. He's dead. So that's a little bit of a joke. That's a little bit of a joke in the family. But anywho, guys, we need to talk because definitely about Pete Rose.
He deserves to be in I don't care what people say.
Right. But my question is, do you think baseball will actually be hypocritical and actually put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, or do you think they'll actually stand by their guns and keep him away from Cooperstown?
You go first, Ben. I have a couple of opinions.
Ben's gonna start because he's first.
I think it might take a few years. I think there might be a petition, and they might have to honor him somehow, because who the fuck doesn't honor a guy who had 4,000 plus hits, and he could steal bases, and he did it with no gloves. Like, the dude was a monster on the field, and
he's riding machine.
Defense.
Ken Griffey Sr. too. 2009 Ken Griffey Sr.
Yep. Pete Rose is well deserving of the Hall of Fame. We know this. However, commissioner after commissioner, like 3 different commissioners have come and gone. We're currently with a sniveling coward named Rob Manfred. So, I still think it's unlikely that Pete Rose ever gets into Cooperstown. I mean, as much and as well deserved as he should be in Cooperstown. I mean, especially with how more open gambling is nowadays, and of course, famous responsible gambler Shohei Ohtani definitely got away with it this season. Pretty much the similar shit that Pete Rose did. So,
I have a rant.
So anywho, Tylor, you have your opinion?
Oh, I have a huge rant. So I get it.
Go ahead, go.
I get it. Gambling against your own team wrong, and I respect the decision. Ban him from the game of baseball, but don't ban the fact.
Welcome, Tylor. Welcome, Jayme. Welcome, Jayme.
Hello.
Oh, but
Tylor, keep going.
My personal opinion is there's guys with fucking steroids in there who were juiced up. Barry Bonds.
Steroids.
Mark McGwire. Sammy Sosa. Let's see.
Jose Canseco, Rafael Palmeiro, who lied to Congress.
Roger Clemens.
Kurt Schilling.
Kurt Schilling.
Randy Johnson never took steroids.
My personal problem is the fact that steroids are more frowned upon than gambling is. And all he did was gamble. I mean, I get it. It's against your own team. It's frowned upon. I get it.
You know who else hasn't made it into the Hall of Fame yet? And you know why, probably? Roberto Alomar.
Oh, yeah, Roberto Alomar.
Keep on. Let's keep on Pete Rose, guys.
But my point is the fact that they're gonna let those guys in the Hall of Fame who clearly cheated and admit to it years later. You can also see it in their bodies now, but they're not gonna let a guy who did it without steroids, did it barehanded in the 70s, most aggressive year of baseball. One bad
where people were still using cocaine regularly.
Hell yeah, bro. And chewing tobacco.
Yep, and chewing tobacco.
Smoking on the field.
Yep, smoking on the field. But again, point stance.
But Dean's not going to get as long as Rob Manfred's commissioner, he's not getting it. Maybe it was a different commissioner, but not with Rob Manfred. Absolutely, he's not getting in the Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Right. Jayme, is there anything you would like to add? No, it's fine. It's perfectly fine. It's on topic, on brand. Jayme, is there anything you would like to add about Charlie Hustle?
About who?
Pete Rose.
I thought part of the whole is
Pete Rose.
Charlie Hustle was Johnny.
No, that Charlie Hustle was a joke nickname that basically Pete Rose earned in like his rookie year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, just give me a quick summary of what's already been said because I don't want to repeat things.
So we were talking about basically with Pete Rose being passed away.
Yes.
And how hypocritical it would be to put Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame now, just after his death, and how long it would take to possibly get him into the Hall of Fame, and we know he deserves it, but will the commission of the MLB actually put him in?
So, unfortunately, I don't think that they'll ever actually put him in because when you look at it, they put him in a permanent ban from the MLB. And that's all things that would be including the Hall of Fame.
Technically, no. He was suspended. He was never on a lifetime ban. Technically, no.
Yeah, he never got a lifetime ban.
Because if he got a lifetime ban, then why the hell was he on the MLB Network?
That is true. I mean, I don't think it would be hypocritical post death to put him into the MLB, but I think it would be a good step, in my opinion, for the MLB to do so. Because if there was a guy who should have been in, barring his mistake, it would have been him.
Yeah, and let's be honest, he made a mistake. He made a mistake, admitted to, and was forced to admit to the mistake.
It's not he tried to make him win or lose.
He legit played the game. No matter if he was gambling or not, he legit played the game. Because
it's not like the basketball player this past year who got caught fandangling his odds and got caught because he's a nobody.
Exactly. But again, Pete Rose actually played every single game to the best of his ability. He did not tank. He did not dive.
Exactly.
And like I said, and famous responsible gambler Shohei Ohtani actually did worse than Pete Rose as far as gambling is concerned. Actually got caught, and he's still in MLB. So Ohtani didn't get punished.
Well, what I was going to say is you can look. There has been multiple instances where you could see like all that man ever wanted was just to have his place in the MLB Hall of Fame.
And Pete Rose rightfully deserves it. He deserves it over a lot of players, especially Barry Bonds and other steroid era ball players. Those who were on steroids. But anywho, yeah, that is it for our roundtable. It's just a little bit of a quick one, and our roundtable, of course, was brought to you by Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. Hey, Smackin'! So, Smackin' Sunflower Seeds. Who are they? Well, they're the most viral sunflower seed right now on the market today. With flavors like cinnamon churro, dill, smoky barbecue, cracked black pepper. garlic parmesan. They definitely have flavors that are bold and are changing the game. And they have their new and limited edition flavors like ranch, cheddar jalapeno, buffalo, chili lime, and coming on the 6th of October, cheeseburger flavored. Let's go.
Yummy.
Use our affiliate link wherever you get your podcasts. Check out Smackin' Sunflower Seeds and see why the Dirt and Turf podcast and the Social Sports Pad Network choose Smackin' over every single sunflower seed out there. And why Smackin' is changing the game on sunflower seeds. All right, guys. Now let's get to it. We have a very interesting postseason. But before we dive into it, I would like to apologize to the Atlanta Braves. Last week on the podcast, I considered the Atlanta Braves dead. I considered them dead, but they were in the wild card game against the Padres. So congratulations to the Atlanta Braves for proving me wrong and being a Lazarus. But now you're dead. So now let's get to the wild cards. So we had the Baltimore Orioles fall and get swept by the Kansas City Royals. Proof that the Baltimore Orioles still have a long way to go. And also, I also have to give another apology to the Kansas City Royals. Because during the trade deadline, I told the Kansas City Royals to trade Salvador Perez. And guess what? Sometimes don't listen to Cobra. That's all I gotta say. Because Salvador Perez is just proving that playoff pedigree is definitely worth a damn.
To be fair, I can see why you would say that, because he's getting up there in age, and he probably don't have too many years left, and you want to get a little bit of value left, which I understand that.
Yes. And the next wild cards we have to address, a bit of a surprise. The Detroit Tigers. Where the hell did you guys come from?
The circus.
Destroying the Houston Trastros in a sweep. And this is something we'll definitely look at too, because 3 of the 4 games were a sweep series. Houston, maybe you should have asked your hitting coach Oscar DeGrouch for some tips instead of just leaving him outside. But again, baseball. Then in the NL wildcard, we had the San Diego Padres crucify the Atlanta Braves. Like a typical 1800s American. Ouch. This of course was a sweep as well. And then finally, we had the Milwaukee Brewers fall in a 3-game series. They got grimaced by Lowell Mets. Lol, indeed. So this is kind of an interesting matchup here. In the ALDS, which by the way, the American and National League DS, it prints money, bitch! Oh snap! Had to do that.
Crackle.
Yep, crackle. So let's discuss the games. We have the Kansas City Royals face off against the number 1 seed New York Yankees. Fuck. I know. Let's puke. Let's just puke.
Can I just say the game 1 starter real quick?
Go ahead.
For game 1 at Yankee Stadium, we got Seth Lugo versus Garrett Cole to go take on game 1 in Yankee Stadium. At 7:05 Eastern Daylight Time.
So
nice.
I'm going to say about this game, the Royals need to score more than 2 runs in order to win this game. Good pitching is not going to
out homer. They need to out homer the Yankees.
The Royals can't out homer the Yankees. That's the problem. They need to play small ball.
the Royals are going to be forced to play small ball. They don't have much power. This is not the 2015 Kansas City Royals. Okay,
they may have beaten the
there's
Orioles.
no Mike Moustakas, there's no Eric Hosmer, there's no Ben Zobrist. Okay.
There's also you don't need any power. You don't need any power to hit a home run in your Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, no.
So what they did against the Orioles was played small ball, and they used their speedster that was batting 9th overall to get on base and have him steal bases. And then they had Bobby Witt.
Jr.
So, I mean, it's small ball. They played against good pitching. Don't get me wrong. Baltimore's pitching's bad, but Baltimore still hung in there, but they couldn't get the hits because Royals had better pitching.
Exactly. But again,
this is against the Yankees.
The Yankees have more elite pitching than the Orioles. That is acknowledged. And you also have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto.
To beat the Yankees, you got to take out Soto and Judge. Those are your equivalent. Like if you can get around those two guys in the lineup, you can beat the Yankees.
Yes. All right, let's go to the next game in this AL bracket. That is the Cleveland Guardians of the Galaxy facing off against the Detroit Tigers.
Oh my.
This might be, I'm going to say this openly, with the way the Tigers have been playing, I think the Tigers can be giant killers. That is all I'll say on the matter. I think the Tigers can be giant killers.
I would love to see the Guardians win, honestly.
And you got for the starters for that game are Tyler Holton, the lefty right behind Terry Skubal, had a great year, 72, was 2.19 ERA and 77 strike. But they're actually what they're doing. What is actually an interesting strategy.
Tyler, why is your mic shit?
I'm not a headset. Anyway.
Yeah, no wonder. All right, so now let's get to the NL. Go ahead.
I was going good what I'm doing is giving stats behind the team. So Tyler Holton is actually a relief pitcher. They're actually going relievers first, so they're saving their starters for later in the series.
The fuck?
Well, yeah, that's a wise move, all things considered. The San Francisco Giants pulled that bullshit too, by the way.
Well, they did that with Lincecum, but in his later years.
Lincecum and also with Justin Noam Baumgartner. So now let's get to the NLDS. As the San Diego Padres face off against the Los Angeles Dodgers in famous responsible gambler Shohei Ohtani.
I didn't do it.
This is a good pitching matchup. Sorry about that.
I guarantee you that the San Diego Padres are chanting, "We want Dodgers. We want Dodgers." And if you know anything, never call it, if you know anything in the modern sports, never call your shot. Never go, "We want this team." Because guess what happens? You get your ass busted.
To be fair.
Ask the Boston Celtics. Ask Toronto.
I can't see the Padres winning this. The Padres have no history of games in the playoffs.
One at a time.
Sorry.
Okay. Tyler, speak.
Anyway, so the pitching matchup's actually a pretty good pitching matchup. It's Dylan Cease for the Padres and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers.
Can we at least mention how Cease was able to escape the thresholds of the White Sox? And so did what's his name, Eloy, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Eloy Jimenez. Yes.
Yeah. At least they made the playoff.
Jayme, is there anything you want to add?
Yes. So, I will give a rebuttal. I think the Padres are the most balanced team in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Outside of Juan Soto being their powerhouse, because they're the most balanced.
Hold up. No. Juan Soto's not on the. Juan Soto's on the Yankees, not the Padres.
I meant Machado.
Yeah, Manny Machado.
Yeah, I meant Machado.
The most overrated player ever. Mike Moustakas was better.
The Orioles, and
fuck.
then when he went to Padres, he got his money, and he went.
Anywho, continue, Jayme.
But in that, as opposed to the last 20 games, the San Diego Padres are 11-9 versus the Dodgers.
That is true, yeah.
So they know how to beat the Dodgers. And that is the biggest hurdle, because if they can beat the Dodgers, then they are going to the World Series. I am calling it now.
You know who could beat the Dodgers? The Dodgers.
Well, it's definitely not Lowell Mets reigning supreme across the land.
The only team
as long as the Phillies don't lose to the Mets, I am A-okay.
The only team
we'll get to those in a minute.
capable of beating the Dodgers to get into the World Series would be the Phillies. That's the only team right now capable of beating the Dodgers. The Padres, they'll give up a fight, yes, but I just can't see it. I don't want Machado to succeed anyway, and the Padres. I hope
you're just blinded by your hate of Machado.
Yeah, I might be.
Salty Baltimore fan much.
But I would love to see the Phillies go to the World Series again. I mean, that'd be cool as shit.
Don't get me wrong. I'm a Phillies fan, so I would definitely love that. But if you look at everything as it is, the Padres are the most balanced team, and they have the best capability of beating the Dodgers and going to the World Series because of how balanced they are.
We counted them out months ago.
Anywho, let's get to the final bit of the bracket. Let's wrap this up with a pretty bow. As Jayme's Philadelphia Phillies face off against Mr. Met, channeling the power of Grimace in the final NLDS matchup between the Philadelphia Phillies and the New York Mets. Tyler, who's pitching this one? Make it quick.
For the Mets, Kodai Senga and the former Met, Zach Wheeler.
The dealer.
Nice. So I think this one's gonna be a little bit more interesting. I mean, the Phillies still have a stacked power bat group with Harper, Turner, and of course Kyle Schwarber. But again, things can get a little bit interesting. I mean, the Mets have been hot and cold. They definitely have been cold throughout after the All-Star game. So again, we will see what happens.
They've been the Katy Perry's of the MLB.
Because you're hot and cold, yes, in your nose.
Jeez. Anywho,
the New York Katy Perry's.
Right. All right, guys. It would be
guys.
Great.
It would be great if the Mets channeled their inner Mike Piazza and brought him back into the dugout, and then they went on to the World Series to face the Yankees, and then beat the Yankees to win the World Series. So it would be a pipe dream, but that won't happen.
Never happen. All right. Anywho, that is it for the Dirt and Durf podcast. That is also it for the MLB playoff bracket, which was brought to you by Fanatics. With the playoffs going on, get geared up. Get your jersey, get your hat of your favorite team. Hey, Jayme, maybe you want the Phillies, or want a Phillies jersey or hat. Especially seeing the game at Citizens Bank Park if you can. There's also the NFL season is in full swing, so grab yourself a jersey. And don't forget, the Fanatics is the official gear supplier of the NHL. And you know that the Social Sports Pad Network is getting ready to get started with our hockey podcast, Biscuits and Penalties. So get ready for that after World Series. So giving everyone a heads up that Biscuits and Penalties is coming to the Social Sports Pad Network. So, but anywho, Fanatics is your go-to place to get your favorite gear from your favorite league. Whether it be NFL, the NCAA, MLB, NBA, NHL, MLS, World Soccer, WWE, WNBA, golf, NASCAR, and Formula One.
Hey,
you go to Fanatics.
Hey,
and hopefully their jerseys aren't see-through. Once again, Fanatics.
They also have Disney shirts.
But who cares about Disney? Oh,
Women
anywho.
who listen to this podcast that have kids.
Yep,
I care about Disney.
See?
Yeah.
Jayme cares.
All right.
I care.
Anywho, that is it for the Dirt and Turf podcast. I'm Cobra. On behalf of Ben, Jayme, and Tylor, play ball. And if you are still tuned in and want to, and if you're looking for football, we'll see you tomorrow.
Hut hut.